Give me a minute, please. I need to get a just give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to cut some of all these off from the recording. But I think I'm done with what I wanted to do. I was trying to sort out the WhatsApp thing. So,
Yes, sir.
all right. So we will recommence sharing now. All right. So I would say that now that I'm sharing, it's a little bit, I didn't think I was going to share, but let me see. Okay, good. All right. So good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome to another of our sessions on mentorship series. Generally, we've been doing this for some time now. So tonight it's about the primaries. We have done a lot about all the jackpot, whatever. So tonight we'll deal with primaries, and of course, it doesn't mean that anybody that does primaries is not still going to jackpot. We know the way it works. But sometimes it's just a stopgap. Whatever is your own route, whatever it is, so long as you want to take the primaries, we'll look at the options available. Okay. So there are two people who will speak with us. Dr. Sikiri will go first. He's a resident in Surgery UCH. Just one of the fresh bloods the pressure will be on to be running up and down. Yeah, and I'm sure he's feeling the heat already. So, Dr. Sikiri, you're welcome. And then Dr.
Thank you,
Chibon
sir.
is going to join us very soon. I think she's joining about now. So we'll do this is 7:06, but we'll do like 20 minutes, Dr. CQ, Dr. Chibon. We just want to hear from people, their opinion, what they think, the steps. So it's try to put it into slides. We try to work with slides, so it just helps us focus on something, like it's an anchor for us. All right. So the last 20 minutes would be for, question, answers, just opinions generally, and an open discussion as it were. Okay, so thank you. So Dr. Sikiru, up to you. You can start. Let me help you to.
Yeah, I can start as chief.
Yeah, you can start. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I welcome us on board to this section of discussion, like our chief has rightly mentioned. I would like to appreciate everyone to be part of this discussion. And I will especially thank our chief, Dr. Adiyemi. He has always been there for us. The mentorship has been superb over the years. During our house job and all those things, he has always been there and he's still been there for us. Thank you so much, Chief. All right. As far as primaries is concerned, primaries is postgraduate exam. It's no more MBBS exam. It's the gateway to postgraduate program. So it's postgraduate exam. There are, as a form of introduction, like I said, it's postgraduate exam. Without passing primaries, you can't start your postgraduate program. Even though we are seeing some situation when people will be allowed to start their program, especially because of this shortage of manpower in residency program. Some people are allowed to start before even having their primaries now. Usually in the past, it's not like that. You have to have your primaries before you are allowed to start your postgraduate program. Some centers that I'm aware of, like Zaria, usually give people benefit of up to 18 months before passing their primaries. They allow up to that duration of time. But all in all, it's still the gateway to starting residency, because even if you are started, if you are allowed to start the program, you are still expected to pass the exam within a limited time frame. And then if you have not passed the exam, you are still not going to be focused on your program. I have a couple of my colleagues that are doing the program. We have started the residency program together, but they are still striving to pass their primary. So you'd rather concentrate your resources now to pass the exam even before you secure placement for your residency. So it's postgraduate exam. And we have two of them. We have a National Postgraduate Medical College exam, and then the West Africa College of Surgeon as the second one. The nationals, or the National Postgraduate College exam, all of them used to be done twice per year. Nationals is being done around March every year, and then September for primaries. While West African College of Surgeon primaries is usually done around April and then October of every year. There might be a lot of flexibilities around. Sometimes there is rigidity to the timing of exam. Like I said, it is CBT exam. It is biannual exam, that is done twice in a year, two of them. So that means you have option to do it one, and then you did you in March if it is nationals, and then you have option of doing it again in September. But I hope that anybody that will attempt the exam will pass it once. It's so important to pass it on. The day I went to go and write my exam, I was having discussion with them people, and they told me that there is one person around that time that has been attempting the exam for up to 10 times. So it might be very, very difficult exam to pass. So let's start with nationals. National Postgraduate Medical Council of Nigeria, primary, is the domesticated one. The establishment of national primaries is actually backed by law, and nationals is a form of a regulatory body, or regulatory council that see to conduct of exam accreditation of a surgery program across the Nigerian training centers and all of that. So they are shadowed with that responsibility. So primary fellowship is usually done in March and September, like I mentioned. And then primaries can be sorted without your full registration license and NYSC certificate. You are allowed to do that. In fact, some people can do it as early as their commencement of a housemanship or something, or even immediately after that. So it's allowed. So national is somehow flexible. It's computer-based test, and is done in 4 centers in Nigeria. Sometimes, like last year, I am aware that they cancel a center. They cancel some center because of a limited number of people that apply for the exam. And last thing I want us to know about nationals is that it's domesticated, because it's only Nigerian exam, unlike West African College, which is also being done in few West African country, like Gambia, Ghana, and all of that. So West African College of Postgraduate Medical Training was established in 1975. It's a professional body shadow with responsibility of conducting exam, accrediting facilities, and some other things like that. So usually the primary of West African College is done in April and then October. And it's good to be aware that you are going to register beforehand. The registration is usually for nationals is usually open around January, and then for West African primaries, the registration usually open around similar program. But West African College of Surgeon primaries is more strict in a way, because the registration period is very fixed. And then if they have to add an extension for the registration, it's usually also limited time. and then they are always, it's more rigid compared to what is obtainable in nationals. So the is usually conducted in Abuja, Ibadan here in UCA. The UCA center is usually conducted in Ajibode in the computer center there, and then Enugu. Those are the three centers in Nigeria. So for the scope of the exam, for West African College Primaries, I have more information about that one because it's the one that I do, but it's the scope is around the same thing. We have to be aware of that. And then the most important thing is to have their curriculum studied. Their curriculum is accessible. When you enter their website, you will see their curriculum there. The exam is in three parts: anatomy, physiology, and pathology. It's worthy of mentioning that anatomy is mandatory or compulsory to pass. And for the exam, is tight. Is tight. You have to channel or focus your energy on what they ask, because you will discover that some of your colleagues that you go for the exam together are moving a lot of stuff. In fact, on the day of exam, you will not want to discuss with people because some people will be moving a lot of stuff and you will be so deep that, did I know all these things that they are saying? No, the exam is focused based on what is obtainable in their curriculum. The anatomy, what is expected to cover is there in their curriculum. Why the physiology and pathology to there is a scope, as in there is a curriculum there in their website. It's very accessible. No code to access them, no any special things to gain access to them. So for the anatomy, I told us is mandatory. If you pass the other ones and you don't pass the anatomy section, you will not pass that exam. That's how they schedule it. You have to focus energy on the anatomy in as much as you are striving to pass the others too, because you'll be hearing a lot of things. People are saying that you have to pass everything now, because sometimes if they see that the pass rate is quite much in a way, they will ensure that you have to pass the three section before you pass the exam. But you have to know that anatomy is so important. Anatomy section is divided into gross embryology, histology, and then neuroscience aspect of it. For embryology, histology, and all of that, they are not usually so much in the question. The question is usually focused on the gross anatomy. And for the gross too, it's important to know all those sections that are mentioned. It's number one, it is clinically oriented. Nobody will ask you what is this, what is that. They will just say a so year old man being woke up for this thing or being prepared for surgery of this thing, and you will eventually discover that where they are going is just to ask you question about anterior abdominal wall anatomy. So they will not ask you the deepest layer of anterior abdominal wall is parietal peritoneum or something. No, they won't ask like that. They will ask in a medical, clinically oriented manner. Like for instance, now there is one question like about recurrent laryngeal nerve problem, especially post-thyroidectomy. In the past, it's usually more of gross like that, but now they will just frame it that a person has surgery for typhoid-related problem, yes, thyroid-related problem. So, and is having difficulty in breathing or is having difficulty in phonating. Which of this structure is most likely as affected? So that's how they tailor their question now. It's clinically oriented and it's basically gross. And you have to know the section of abdomen so much. It's so important. Irrespective of the aspect of surgery you want to specialize, you have to know anatomy as in abdomen very much. Abdomen, thorax, pelvic, and perineum, they concentrate their energy on that. In as much as people said that they want to cover the other sections equally, but truly, when you get to the exam, it's not like that. They focus more on those regions that is mandatory to know. Also, upper extremities and lower extremities, especially around the anatomy of femoral triangle and all those stuff, their relation, everything, their composition and all that. They like to mention it. And then they will always ask it clinically that, okay, person, like for instance, now there was one on sciatic nerve that time, that if you want to give an injection or something, you would like to focus on the outer upper quadrant, something like that. So it's clinically oriented. And like I mentioned, for their curriculum is key. For the materials, the most important thing is that telegram that I highlighted in the last part of the scope the scope. So that telegram surgery slash orthopedics preparation group is so key and important, because what they used to do is that they have a lot of resources there that are available. They have a lot of questions, they discuss a lot of questions that are strictly exam based, not so digression. So Telegram is so important to join relevant Telegram group. And the material they concentrated on include the recall. So the recall is so important. Lange material is important. Lange anatomy. BRS anatomy is so important. MRCS anatomy is very, very important. Clinical and applied anatomy. This textbook, this particular one, clinical and applied anatomy, is very, very important for anatomy of a West African college. The last anatomy, though the answer are actually drafted from last anatomy, but you don't have all the luxury of time to trash last anatomy. You can meet up. That's the truth. But that clinical and applied anatomy is concise and exam oriented. For physiology, it's also system based. Cellular physiology is usually as an exhaustive part of the exam. Coagulation cascade, fluid and electrolyte, respiratory physiology. In fact, there is this chart in Ghana, that chart of the FVC or something like that. That sinusoidal graph in respiratory physiology is very, very important. They used to bring it virtually every
The
year.
respiratory
That
volumes.
Yes, the respiratory volume, also tidal volume, residual capacity, and all those. They used to bring it. And the funny thing is that you will think you know all those things, but you will be surprised that when you are answering the exam, you are not able to answer it. You just add up those values, and they will not be adding up, because they will ask those volumes as in calculation manner. But you have to practice it. You have to know which one is tidal volume. You have to know them one by one. So they used to ask that thing every year. And their curriculum is so important too. Ghanaian is so relevant in physiology. And like I told you, system based, all those endocrinology, um, 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 insulin, under pancreatic hormones, and all those things. They used to ask logical questions around that, and it will be clinically oriented. Their recall is equally important. Thank you, Chief. The next slide, please. So for pathology, it's the same thing, but the basic is the most important thing under pathology. All those apoptosis, necrosis, cellular injury, that basic pathology is the most important thing. You have to know them, as in you have to. You don't have option of that than to trash those basics. And the systemic pathology is usually limited. They don't usually enter them like that, but the basics, they will ask a lot of questions from the basic. And the divisions of pathology, including immunology, microbiology, and pathology itself, that's the scope of, that's what they usually touch under pathology. Immunology, all those IgG, immunoglobulins, they used to ask a lot of questions under them. All those endotoxin, exotoxin, and those basics are essential. They will always bring it. And microbiology. Curriculum is also important. Recall from each of those years are the most important thing you need to prepare yourself with. And then BRS and Robbins, they are so important. And the exams is detailed. You just be surprised that they are asking some things and you will not have idea at all. And like I told you, 3 section: anatomy, physiology, and then pathology. You might not be able to differentiate pathology from physiology because they will be so similar. And then you will find it, because in our own time, all of us are practically arguing about which one among them is physiology. We don't know whether it's the second aspect or the third aspect of the exam. Because how they used to do it is that you will do anatomy and then the second one, which we are not sure whether it's physiology or pathology, they will ask, those are the first section of the exam. After finishing that one, they will allow you to go and take some break, and then you will come back to for the third one. And then the exam is usually 100 questions per each of the sections. The time will always be enough if you have prepared ahead of the exam. So the time will always be enough to do whatever you want to do. Next thing, yes, confusion. Confusion slash conclusion. For the confusion, people talk a lot about negative marking. No one is sure. But for the West African College of Surgery Primaries, usually their own the instruction will not tell you that you will be penalized for wrong choosing of your exam. And then I think it's flexible enough to answer their question without being penalized. In as much as you are choosing what is right, or you are, as in you got a lot of them right. If there is penalty or penalization, I don't think it's so heavy. I told us it's confusion because no one is 100% sure whether they will deduct 1 for 1, 0.5 for 1, or something like that. It's not so sure. For the marking, it's also obscured. They will just tell you that when they bring the result, they will just tell you that the following are satisfied the examiners. So no one is sure how they mark their exam. So the marking, is something that is obscured. And the other thing is pass or fail. Let's say they accredit 190 something, like in my own time, 198 or so was accredited, but when the result was released, it was 62 or so that passed the exam. So they pass. If you see your name, like the medical school exam, that means you passed the exam. And then if you don't see your name, that means until the next time for the exam. So pass and fail. Pass, your name appear in the final list. Fail, you don't see anything. And then release of results for West African College of Surgeon Primaries is not fixed. For my own time and those that wrote the exam before myself, the exam took up to like 6 or 5 weeks before they release it. In fact, my own time was so peculiar that they were, as in, people were confused. Some will say they will release it this week, and then you are not seeing anything in the next couple of weeks again until they eventually release the exam around the 6th week of writing the exam. For nationals, it's usually faster. Like within 3 weeks, you've seen the result of nationals. And then passability of the exam. The exam is actually passable. You don't need to be highfalutin, as in know a lot of stuff in passing the exam. In fact, the way I passed the exam, it was very miraculous because I've not never sat down reading my book of anatomy, as in devoted a lot of chunks of time in studying, and no. But I discovered that what I did that was so helpful is to be guided by all those stuffs in the Telegram page. People are discussing, you are following their discussion. People are discussing, you are following their discussion. After their discussion, you go back to go and study 1 or 2 things in what they have discussed for that day. So it's very, very possible exam. If someone is like, they can pass primary, so no, don't be so bothered like that. It's very possible. And then thank you for this section. I think if we have question or
Yeah,
comment.
thank you, Dr. Sikiri. Yeah, the questions, just write them down. I actually also have written my questions down, my
All right,
contribution.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thank you so much. Like I said earlier, for those
Well,
that join us later, I said there will be two people who will speak with us. Dr. Sikiru has just finished. Dr. Chibon is the second person. What we're trying to do is just to get the perspective of different people. And I was hoping I could get a third person also, but that didn't work out. But then let's work with the two of them, and after we'll ask questions. So, Dr. Chibon, you can actually share your slide. You don't have to. Let me just stop sharing this.
Okay.
Okay, you can share your slide right now.
All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope
Good
I'm
evening.
audible.
In
Yes, you are.
very loud, actually, which is good.
Sorry.
No. We need that volume. Just keep it up.
Okay, please just give me. Okay, just give me a minute, please.
Okay.
So let me put this slideshow. Okay. So I'm Dr. Tibon. I'm a new surgical resident in University College Hospital Ibadan. I'll just continue from where my colleague started began. He has done a really expressive work and in taking you through um, West Africa primaries. So I'll focus more on nationals. Okay, so the outline is this. Please, are we together? Sorry, I'm not. I can't
Yes.
see both
Yeah,
windows.
don't worry. That's how Zoom is.
Okay,
Just keep talking. I
sorry.
will be listening to
All right. Thank you
you.
very
Right.
much. All right.
Right.
Okay, so I'm starting with decision. So this is like a lifelong journey, although you can change your mind at any
Sorry.
point.
Sorry. Do you want to make it on the um slide view?
Okay, yes, please. I'm trying to see how to do that.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm not
Okay. Just
very
all
com-
right. Let's go
computer
back.
literate.
Okay. Go back to the sharing. Go back to share
Maybe
the
you help me
document.
share it.
Don't worry. Just go to share. Just go back to what you did already, and then you keep
Okay.
moving the slide from the one page to from one slide to the other.
All right.
Just reshare like you did earlier.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just I'm coming. A minute, please.
Okay.
So is it showing now?
Nope.
Is it showing?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Is it showing now? Not.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Sorry. Let me try it. Okay. I can't even find it. So please, could you share it from your side?
Okay. You
Not.
can send it to me,
Okay.
WhatsApp, and let me see how I can help you with it.
No. Okay. Sorry, please. I apologize for the delays. I will become
All right.
more computer literate now.
No
It's
problem.
it's
No problem.
have you sent it to me? Oh, okay, wait. You actually have. Okay, okay, good. Don't worry, I'll do that.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
I'll do that now.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Right.
Okay, so okay, I think I have, yeah. So I believe we can all see.
Yes, we can see it, Chief.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so, oh, you're welcome.
Yes. All right. Thank you
We
very
can,
much.
yeah, we can go on. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So many people or many young graduates now don't necessarily write primaries as a first line option. You rather write club and USMLE than have primaries as a backup. But whatever your motivation is, you should carefully consider it and make sure that this is your plan and you work towards your goal. So, so there are two colleges. Dr. Sikuru has thankfully explained the procedures for the West African College of Surgeons. I'll do for the National Postgraduate Medical College. They have slightly different schedules and curriculum. So this is the schedule and requirement for the West Africa. Um, you have to complete your NYSC, I know, before you can write West Africa because it's part of the requirement and have full registration. And like you said, it's a bit cheaper. This year it is 90,000. They're actually going to write it next week, so Friday, I think, on the 18th. So next week, Saturday. So registration for this year has ended. So you have to watch out for when the next would open by January of next year. Okay, so it costs 90,000 naira for this year. And like I said, it has earlier closed in July. For the national, you can actually write nationals now. They are yet to close, and the date has actually not been announced. So registration is still ongoing, and NYC is not a requirement. It's not mandatory, but you have to have full registration and certificates. So nationals cost about, I think this year is 100,000. It actually has reduced because last year I think it cost about 120,000. So there's about 10,000 naira difference between them this year. And the registration is still open. It's closing next week. Fitting in four centers in Abuja, Enugu, Kano, Nigeria. So for the preparations, I always say that it's based on the person and based on your, your personal ability. It's better to start early enough, but averagely between 3 and 6 months is ready to it's a workable time frame. I was actively working when I wrote my exam, so I had to take like a month. So I got a leave, so I had to sit down and read because I wasn't my work schedule did not allow much reading by the side. So depending on how your ability, if you can read by yourself, I did discussion group because I'm a root learner. So I learn more when I'm discussing with other people. And nationals consists majorly of past questions. As a matter of fact, if you study all the past questions for the last, let's say 5 6 years, you probably cover a whole range of almost all the questions that will be asked. However, West Africa may throw some bananas here and there, may see some new things once in a while. But for nationals, it's majorly past questions. Okay, so the resources, Dr. Shikira has earlier mentioned it. You need last anatomy, kit more. Lunch is very important. A lot of questions come out from them. BRS anatomy and physiology. So MCQs in basic science, Robbins, Sleeping Cuts, Guyton, and Guyton has some MCQ and answers, and then question banks are very, very, very important. So for the examination, Dr. Sikri has explained for West Africa, there is a CBT, 300 questions. Paper one has anatomy, 100 questions for 90 minutes. Two has pathology and principles of surgery mixed together, another 90 minutes, and three is physiology. So the trick is to answer as many questions as you can within the time frame. Sometimes you think that you will have question, but if you actually look at it, you actually have less than 1 minute per question, and it gets exhausting, especially when you're getting to paper two or three. You can be very drained. So try as much as, so anything that is familiar, answer. You can skip the ones you don't know and come back to it later. And like you said, the questions are clinical. They will give you scenarios and then you have to deduce them, which is why most of the questions are actually from lunch. And then you can change your answers if you reconsider. And we are not exactly sure of the marking pattern, but it's better to answer as many questions as you can. So it's the same pattern for the orthopedic people who are writing for orthopedic. Orthopedics now has a different faculty in the college, so they write a different exams, and they have only 2 parts instead of three in general surgery. So for nationals is CBT, 200 questions, is randomly mixed. So you can answer like 4 anatomy questions, and get like 3 pathology, 1 physiology, and 1 surgery, then come back again. There is a break in between. I'm not sure. I think they give 90 minutes. So a total of 180 minutes. So you can answer. So the format of the questions in nationals is not like West Africa. They are usually not clinically oriented. So the questions will be like something like, for let's say physiology, will say something like glucose uptake is unlikely in which of these tissues, and they will give you some options that you have to choose. They have very many bananas, so almost all your questions can actually be except questions. They will say blood vessels with the lowest partial pressure, trachea nerve innervates all of the following except. So you have to actually know the stuff in these ones. So which is why I say question banks and past questions are very important. We are not sure, as we said, if there is negative marking, although we have been told from legend and from all our elder colleagues that it's possible that there may be negative marking. However, it's still better to answer as many questions as you know. So just keep answering as much as you know. Like I said, the time may not actually be on your side. It's 180 minutes for 200 questions. Orthopedics is the same question. And in both colleges, you must pass anatomy. The questions are skewed towards anatomy. So you probably have more anatomy questions than physiology and pathology. The result of West Africa usually comes out in 1 month. The pass rate is generally on the average side. However, nationals have a higher pass rate and the results actually come out. Sometimes they can even come out before you get to write West Africa. So that's the that's an option. Okay, so try your best and to cover as much ground, and whatever the options are, I wish all of us good luck and we'll see at the top. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ichiba. That was a good one. Very concise, straight to the point, and also robust. Okay, let me let me put it on the okay. Let me leave this screen so at the reference point. So thank you. I think this is the time for interactions. We have like 20 minutes before we close. I have some questions myself. I'll ask. Now, do you let me see now. Okay, there is for just for information of everybody, there is what we call exemptions. Also, if you want to, you can write a college and be exempted for the other college. It's not compulsory you write both colleges. Yes, but I'm not sure of. I know West Africa can accept national. I'm not so sure about national accepting. I really not sure, but I think they do. That is when you want to. You can use either of the college primaries to start residency. You can use either. So long as you have one, they will take any institution will take you. Like Sikiru said, like Dr. Sikiru said, there are some places even that will take you even without primaries because I mean they need people and then they will expect that you'll pass the exams as as time goes on. But you can actually start with any either college. But you must before you then go for what's it called? Your part one exam if you want to stay up till that time before you run away for those who want to run away. That part one exam, you have to have the primaries of that college or the exemption of that college, which means, for example, I'll give my own personal example. I actually passed the national college. I never wrote the West Africa. Did I write West Africa? Uh, oh yeah. I wrote West Africa. I didn't pass West Africa in my time, as in surgery, the primaries. I wrote national, I passed national. Like Chibon said, the result of West Africa National actually came out before I went to write my West Africa. Maybe that was why I was relaxed because I saw I had passed. Let me just go. But so I started my residency with my surgery, my national primaries. So when I was going to write, part one, I had to ask for an exemption from the West African College because I've passed my national. And they granted that exception. But of course, you know that you will actually pay for it. So you will pay instead of writing another primary, you just pay a fee, and they will, convert your your national to West Africa, and I think vice versa. It happens like that. So you don't have to have both colleges. You can have, but you can write both colleges. I mean, just because of the lottery, maybe you pass one, or you even pass two. So and just like me, if the result of one is out before the other, you might just relax or something, but it's good to always have the two. Anyways, all right, moving forward. So guys, how can we get the materials? Definitely don't ask me. The materials I used are aged long. I've even forgotten where they are. So Dr. Sikiru, Dr. Echibo, and then Dr. Olo, you are here. I mean, you are writing the exam next week. So, I mean, maybe you are even the hottest right here now. Because, so for everyone, Dr. Loke was the House of Sam with us for some time ago. So he's writing exam. So we pray for him that he passes the exam. But I mean, how did you get your materials? A lot of people will need your materials, I guess.
As our chief said, that the Telegram group that he talked about, all the materials are in the media section of the group.
Can you share the group when you type it on the chat box?
It was actually Dr. I've forgotten his name. It was one of my chiefs to that time that just added me to the group.
Okay.
So I don't know who adds who, or I don't know how to get it.
Any information from Dr. Sikiru or Dr. Etubon? Do you have information on this group? This one very good Telegram group.
Like I mentioned earlier, all the materials are there.
How does one get there?
Yes, I will ask some of the moderators of the group.
Okay.
Those that are yes, I'll ask them, and then if I get any positive feedback, I'll let you know, sir. Possibly share the group with you, sir. The links.
Yeah, I think that's very key, so that for those who might not even be planning right now, it's just to have access to all those materials. Telegram has made things easier now. I mean, you can always access things that are
I think someone already shared the group link on the page now.
Oh, really? Sorry, I wasn't
Yes.
looking at it. Oh, okay, okay. Great.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes.
So you guys, you can copy that link onto WhatsApp or somewhere because after this meeting, you may not have access to this link anymore. So just copy it, paste it on your WhatsApp page and all so that you can access it after. So thank you for Dr. Sylvester for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah. Then okay, I'll leave the floor. Let me not do all the asking. So anyone that has questions can then ask now. I have a few other things, but just let's just
Sorry, I have a question.
okay, who is that?
Hello, okay.
Hello, okay. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Okay. To our chief, thank you for the session. It was really enlightening. As
Yeah,
we've been told, the materials, like they are bulky, the questions and everything. And the questions are also 300 questions. So we are like, is it that the questions are brought word for word, or because we have to read the explanation of the answers to be able to get to know it properly, or how are we to, like, so that it's also easy for us to.
okay, okay.
You mean how do you get past the volume of words and get
Yes,
straight to the point?
yes,
Because you can start,
yes,
merry-go-rounding. A 50-year-old man went to this place and then something happened to him. And then what I just want to ask is, something very basic. Which
yes,
which bone is most likely to have been injured? And then they start with all the long stories. I think it's a ploy to train you to know how to sift for the most important information. It's almost like the USMLE exam, really. They just bring a whole lot of stories, and if you are wise enough, you just ignore those stories sometimes. I mean, Dr. Sikiru and Echiba will talk. They are the ones that are quite fresh in it now. But from my experience, ignore the noise. Just go for the last line. Once you have the question, if you can answer it immediately, answer it immediately. But sometimes when they give you the full whole range of story, the man went up, he's a 50-year-old man, he's married, he does this, and then something happened to him. The question may be very direct. What is you could just be in the like someone said anterior abdominal, what is the most superficial structure? And you're wondering why all the stories? Why not just have you should have just asked me this one now? So sometimes you just ignore everything. But when you go for the main question, you will know the question they're asking you. Then, if it is necessary to read the preamble, then you can read the preamble to answer that question. Because if it's not necessary, then you just answer it and go. But if it's necessary, it is now easier for you to get the answer as you keep skimming through the preambles. What do you think, Dr. Sikiru? To his
Yes, sir.
question, how can you navigate all the bulky
You
stuff?
are very right, sir. That's approach to it. Some of them will have a lot of jargons, so you need not to bother yourself about those stories. Just go for the key. What I did was that I'll first check all the options available, A, B, C, D, E. I'll just at glance look at what is there, and then look at one or two lines in the question stem, and then you will be guided instantly if you really know what they are trying to point out. So, but don't waste it because time might be limiting at some point. So reading all those things will just drain all the time, and you discover that you are unable to finish those sections. And like Dr. Etubon mentioned, if you don't answer a lot, let's say of your 100 question of anatomy, you just answer 70 or thereabout. That means you have even shot yourself in the leg before the actual person is sorted. So the main, the options, and then few of the lines of the main questions.
Okay.
I hope
All
I'm
right.
clear.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Dr. Chibon, anything you want to add?
I actually said most of the thing. So
All right.
just focus on what you do. Like I said, just answer as much as you know. Don't try to overfigure or overthink. That's when you get into problems.
So answer as many questions as you just keep answering them. Just and make sure you do not um you limit the ones you skip, you know. All right. Any other person? I understand. I mean, Tolo Okere is going to write very soon, so he has questions burning on his mind. All right. Is Doctor is Dr. Olachi here? I'm not so sure now. I must have missed if she's here. Okay, if she's not, I was going to ask for one or two tips from her because she's also done the exam. Okay, no problem. I'm not sure. I don't think she's here. Okay, any other person, any question, any contribution to the on the floor, Doctor, all our fresh doctors in town. Don't worry, I know that you're thinking that this primaries is still like a year away or something. But I mean, the earlier you start, the better. And like someone asked me some time ago, I always say that just, I mean, from Dr. Abiola's session, if you recall Dr. Abiola's session when she was talking about the US pathway, she said you made mention of one that being in residency actually is a big plus to um your chances. It adds to your chances of matching and even your experiences because they see that you have been doing something in an active residency program other than just being there being a medical officer. And then again, being a resident doctor, you most places in Nigeria now, I think resident doctors you get better paid than the medical officer. So at least it helps you financially also. So I mean, if you're not thinking about it, you can just have the primaries at the back of your mind, and you're getting set. Okay,
Okay, I have another question, sir.
okay, sir. All right.
So, like 2, 3 days ago, one of my other guys who is going for auto, he attended the like auto update. So they released some materials, anatomy, physiology, like that. So I wanted to ask because there are like 44 slides that he sent to me. Please, do I need to go through the update slides or I should just leave it?
Okay, Dr. Echibon, Dr. Sikiru.
Yes,
Especially
sir.
like I said, auto is a pretty new division now, so their exams are quite different. I haven't found I have a colleague, maybe I'll try to find out how different their exam or how different the questions were from ours. But please read the updates and the slides. I think since it will tailor made towards their own exams, so please include that slide or those slides in your preparation.
No, but he's not doing auto now. Is it important that he do? I don't know.
Oh, okay, he's not doing auto. Oh,
Or
I
Dr.
thought he's
Okere, are you
writing
doing
for.
auto?
No, I'm not doing auto, but like some of the slides were on acid base balance, coagulation,
Ah,
like
well,
anatomy and physiology.
Those are basic things that you should
okay,
know, I think.
okay, yeah,
Uh,
just read them as adjunct to whatever you are reading. I thought you were
All right.
going for the exams directly.
No. No.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much, man.
Yes,
Like she mentioned, don't be distracted like that. I remember then they were telling us that we have to read the updates. Actually, I don't read the updates, and then Yes, I found the exam easy. So, but the basics, like you mentioned, all those the points you just mentioned now, they usually bring them out. All those coagulation cascade, and then the basics they will ask them. But don't be distracted by, oh, this is special update material that they used to know. The exam is focused and they have their aims and objectives.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you very much, sir.
So just to add something, I am a very residual knowledge kind of a person. Like I hate to cram. I hate, when I have so much information and my brain is just hot. That it doesn't work for me. So I'm a long-term, planner kind of a thing. I'm saying this to the people, the fresh doctors. Now, um, try as much as possible to master many of these basics. Now, there is no way you will go through surgery, residency, or even primaries without mastering those things that Osikiru and Etienne has highlighted. All the basics. What do I mean by the basics? The basics of, like I said, the inflammation is very vital. There's no way you'll escape inflammation. There's no way you'll escape, coagulation, infection, wound healing, things like that. Very, very key. And then, of course, your anatomy is surgery now. You cannot, but, the only anatomy that may not be so, I won't say important, but maybe not featured very prominently might be the core subspecialties of cardiothoracic surgery. Maybe start talking about, nobody's, even residents are not, uh, even part one, they cannot talk to them about anatomy of the heart. That one, definitely forget about that. Yeah, all that. But general other ones, abdomen, pelvis and perineum, upper and lower limbs, you cannot but do that. And then maybe I think sometimes neurosurgery too. All the foramina in the skull base, all the foramina. You cannot escape it though. They are still coming back, to you. So these are the things. The basics are very important. So if it is from now, you have a system, you are still fresh from school. Yes, it's good to rest. We know you want to rest and everything, but hey, don't rest so much. If you rest so much, you are not. There's a way. It's like you are boiling water. When the water is boiling, it's very potent. You can use it to melt anything. It will melt. It will cook rice. To cook things. Even when your brain is active, you can do a lot of things. But when you are just cool, you want to sleep, you won't be able to function. And for me, I know we have different people with different capacities. For me, I function best when I'm busiest. I have 10 things in my hand, then that's when I'm more productive. If I have just one thing, forget it though. I probably will just be, just be lounging and stuff. But when I have five things, I'm dividing my time. Okay, 2 hours for this. You are very, active. So that's the thing. I mean, I'm just saying from my own experience. So gather the materials, like I said, get on the Telegram group, and then update courses. There will be update courses close to the time you do your primaries. Attend those update courses, get their material, the slides. The update courses are to make money. They used to make money, but the slides are also very important. But like I said, if they've given you an example of books that are key, like I think Lange kept on coming as a very, very important book. My time, Lange, I mean, I read Walter and Israel. I don't know. I don't think anybody here knows what Walter and Israel is. So that's a pathology textbook. But now, if lunch is very key, please go for lunch. If the Telegram groups are key, please go for them. And I'm sure that we will all have success by God's grace. And for Dr. Olokri, we are waiting to hear the good news. After
Amen.
the next 1 month, I'm sure also I think, is this Saturday, right?
Friday.
Friday. Wish you all the best. You rest
Thank
well.
you,
You
sir.
remember everything you have read, and the exam will be
Amen.
very easy in Jesus' name. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Nobody is saying any other thing again. Any last chance before we going, gone? Anybody wants to ask any question before it's like 9 o'clock right now, but just 9:03, I think.
Hello, sir.
Okay, somebody is
Hello.
speaking.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Right, good evening. That's
Good evening.
testimony. Good evening. How are
Yes,
you?
sir. Good evening. I'm fine, sir. So thank you so much for the presentation. I'm not sure. I think this question might have been asked before because I
All
joined the
right.
meeting late. So I want to ask concerning hospitals to apply for residency. I've heard that UCH is the best place to apply for surgery, but are there any other hospitals that one can apply for aside UCH that are relatively close or equally as good?
Okay, before I allow the, I mean, well, I guess maybe I probably might be in a better position to answer that question, but then I'll still allow Dr. Sikri and Etiba to answer in their own, it depends on what you're looking for. Okay. The colleges that conduct the exams, is not your training institution. However, your training institution has a major role in your development as a surgeon. And that's the truth. Because people can pass exams and not be good surgeons. That's the truth. You can pass exams. It might be difficult somehow, but I can speak for UCH. I know UCH has a lot of, stereotype. Oh, it's very busy, blah, blah, blah. And I agree with you. It is very busy. That's not a stereotype. It is very busy. And we have our unique ways, and we all have the seniority and all the wahala up and down. But that's just part of the thing that one has to go through to help him or her um, shape him or her towards being a surgeon. Some are not the best, some are not, but somehow a combination of everything will make you a good person. Now, what UCH has going for it is that over the past I think 6, 7 years, UCH has had a very good um, program, resident-run program now, by residents, not even consultant or college. It's just basically resident-run program of mentoring and of training, junior colleagues. You understand, the SRs, even the senior SRs, the younger SRs, registrars and like that. you know. So they have presentations almost every week or weekend, presentations here and there. All of those things help you in becoming a good surgeon, and also help you pass the exams easily. UCH has been having a very good result. So maybe that is why you are saying, okay, UCH is the best. So best maybe in terms of the atmosphere for the trainee to learn, but I don't know. Other centers may have their own. So Ife, I learned, is also a very good place because Ife, has that teaching atmosphere as well. So it depends on what you're looking for. I don't know if what you're looking for is time. Oh, the place where I will have time. If you want to have time, I suspect maybe go to the east or something, because I have friends from there. I understand what's, this may be a wrong stereotype. I'm not sure, but what I know is I know UCH is very good in terms of the academic atmosphere and all that. Ife is also very good in terms of that. Um, Funny enough, these are just two institutions in the entire Nigeria. Nigeria has how many centers? Maybe more than 30 or 40 centers doing surgery. So they all have their uniqueness. I honestly cannot tell you about these other centers. So the person that can tell you, maybe if we have like 10 people from different centers here can tell us about their center, then we can. So what do you think? What have you been hearing, Dr. CQ, Dr. Echibon, when it comes to residency, UCH, other places, to apply to?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. Well, like you said, UCH is like the best center to train, but it has the peculiarities based on the nature of and description of the job. I think UCH is so hectic and demanding. There's a lot of work, in fact, a lot of work, and you are still expected to meet up with your academic program in a way. It's very demanding. seeing a lot of new cases, a lot of unique cases, a lot of rare cases. Because for my few months of residency, I've seen a lot of cases being referred to usage from Abeokuta and some other centers in the Southwest. I've seen a couple of referrals from them. And you will be wondering, do they not have social consultants in this specialty? So it's peculiar center. It has the best hand. It has a lot of experienced people. Even our teacher here, Dr. DM, so we have a lot of experienced people on ground in usage. But the flexibility, I think other centers are doing fine too. Yes, other centers are doing fine. Some of us, if we have a couple of options on our table, especially concerning distance and security challenges in some other part of the country, we might give shot to other centers. Those first generation teaching hospitals are doing wonders. ABU Islanda is very, very good center. That is Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. They are doing wonder. Their surgery training is very good. But the problem, in fact, what distracted me from there is actually the distance and then the insecurity. I learned that it's so much flexibility around there. Unlike you say that everything is very strict, the training is strict, people, resourceful people are there. So that's what I can say. But a lot of flexible centers are around. Ife, Zaria, they are also very good centers.
Yeah, you're giving me an idea just now. Like, I think we might have to deal with. Maybe we'll have to look for people from all over Nigeria to come and talk about the residency program in their hospitals. Then we can have a more informed, situation. Right now, if we are in usage, I mean, you can only talk about usage, so, but then we meet in the exams. People from all the centers, we meet when we come to exams, so that's when you can gauge the residents from other centers. And it's from that I was able to say that I was able to say that Ife was really Ife excellent also, okay. I hope to some certain extent that has helped testimony.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you very much too, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we've overshot our time by 10 minutes. We started like 7:06, 8:06, I think. Okay, so we'll be running up right now. Any other contribution? We are all happy. Someone has raised their hand. Okay. Okay. Oh, who are these people? Okay, Dr. Kolaole, go first. Dr. Kolaole, you can ask your question. If you are speaking, we can't hear you because you are still muted. Okay, while he's trying to sort out his end, Dr. Jachiman Wabra, can you go ahead?
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this session. It was really eye-opening. My question is actually regarding what testimony asked. I heard, I'm not sure how, but this concerns the field I hope to practice in. I heard that Babcock has one of the currently has one of the best programs for cardiothoracic surgery or cardiac surgery generally. I just wanted to confirm that, or if what's the, because I just did a Google search a while back and that popped up. So I just want to know if it's PR or it's actually like something that has been confirmed.
Okay, so I think I can answer that question. Okay. Now there's this, let me answer it this way. Let's be clear about what we want. Now, many people, when they hear cardiac surgery, because it's the most complex and it's the most attention grabber of everything in cardiothoracic surgery. So it's almost like that's the index of assessment of the success of a cardiothoracic surgery program. Understandably so. It's logical if you have for example, you have robotic surgery somewhere. I don't know if usage, for example, is doing robotic surgery, you think, oh, the surgery usage is excellent. They are doing robotic, so it means for you to be doing cardiac, it means you're excellent and everything is very good, right? Yeah. So what has brought Babcock onto the map really is the cardiac surgeries, the open heart surgeries, more like that Babcock has been doing. Now, right, they ran into some murky waters lately, but that's not to say that they are not doing well. They had a hiatus. There was a period where they weren't operating because of the partners they had to leave. So they are more like they are the ones, they are now homegrown. They had a partner that left. It was that partner that was really working with them, bringing all the what's it called, traffic of cardiac surgery to them. But that partner left for reasons best known to them. I don't know, their internal stuff. So they had to. So there was a period of quiet, and then they are back. Doing their open heart surgeries, but admittedly not like they were doing in the past 1 year. Incidentally, just before this program, you can all it's open source information. You can all Google, not Google, you can all check the Nigerian Heart Registry. It's an open registry for all the centers in Nigeria, okay, that are doing cardiac surgeries. So everywhere that cardiac surgery is done in Nigeria, that center uploads the information onto that heart. So you can actually look there and see all the centers in Nigeria that are doing heart surgery. UCH is there everywhere, and you will see it there. It is let me see I can't remember, Nigerian Heart. Even just Google open heart surgery database in Nigeria. It will take you to the site. You'll see. So you can actually assess for yourself or the progress of each center. In Enugu, in Ibadan, in Lagos, in Ife. So currently, I can tell you the active centers for open heart surgeries, if that's what you want. Open heart surgery, Babcock is active. Ife is active. Every 2 weeks, they have open heart surgery. Lasuth, I honestly can't speak about them now. I'm not so sure, but I know they're active. But the regularity is not what I can't say, but they are active. They have surgeons who operate, who are independent. They don't need anybody from abroad. Even Babcock doesn't need anyone from abroad. Ife doesn't need anyone from abroad. Those are the three hospitals. The others are purely private. They don't have provision for residency and stuff like that. They don't. So Tri-State in Lagos and some other centers in Lagos like that. Evercare and stuff like that. But when it comes to training, Ife, Lasuth, Babcock, Enugu also, but the only problem we have in cardiac surgery in Nigeria is that there's not one center that's accredited. So everyone has to go outside the country to get the accreditation, to get to train, So, but if it is at least to start your residency program, I'm not sure of Babcock if they are doing residency, if they are taking residence cardiothoracic surgery. It's not, I'm not sure. I am certain they are not. Maybe things have changed between yesterday and now, but I'm certain they are not because I'm familiar with the system. But I don't know. Maybe things, and everybody is improving, so they will definitely have plans for them. So, but going to other aspects, thoracic surgery, which comprises everything in the thorax in terms of the lungs, the pleura, diaphragm, the esophagus, all of these, then that is when the difference now starts getting clearer. You understand? You see, that's where you now see that, okay, other centers are really, really, really far more experienced and they have far more volume than what Babcock would do. You understand? So, but they focus more on cardiac surgery. But they do, thoracic, but not like established centers like UCH, like Ife, like Enugu, and there are centers that are purely specialists in esophageal surgery, specialists in lung surgeries, diaphragmatic surgeries and stuff like that. So that is where they now are, not at the same level with others in terms of volume. And then maybe expertise also, because what they are basically doing is cardiac, and the cardiac is more of, I'm not sure they have an in-house person yet who is fully on ground doing the cardiac. They still have people come, around, but they are Nigerians that come to do surgeries. So I hope that answers your question. So for the website, I think it's nigerianheartregistry.com or something, but just check open heart surgery registry in Nigeria. You will see it's there. Information is there. You just see all the places in Nigeria that are doing open heart surgery. All the surgeries they are doing, even up to date. I mean, for the centers that are uploading their data. Okay, Dr. Kolawole, your hand is still raised. You have something for us?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. We should close soon, no?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks to the prosecutor. My question is, you talked about compatibility of either of the primaries to the other one. So, to what extent is that possible currently?
I think it is. Dr. Sikiri, what do you think? Don't they do exemptions again? They still do.
Yes,
Okay.
they are still doing it too.
Exemptions. If you take one college, go on, please.
Yes, they are still doing exemption.
Yeah.
To exempt nationals, if you have West African College of Surgeon Primary, is cheaper.
Okay.
Yes, it's cheaper. But if you have nationals and then you want to exempt for West African College of Surgeon Primaries, it's costlier. I don't have actual amount now, but I'm aware, or someone was telling me that it's close to 200 and something or 300,000 now. If you have nationals and you want to exempt West African College, so they are still doing exemption.
So yeah,
so
it's
the
possible.
exemption for West Africa is about 300. Last check was about 350, almost 350.
Yes, so
If you have nationals and you want to exempt for West Africa, or if you have West Africa and you want to exempt for national, it's just about 200,000.
Okay, all right. Thank you. But if you
Okay,
want
thank
to
you,
do
sir.
the
Thank
two,
you.
we can have the two, just to brag. Okay, I think we have to end here. We have gone past our time. Thank you, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We'll get across to you soon on any other thing we'll have. So, Dr. CQ, we're grateful to have you. Dr. Etubon, thank you for your time, your busy schedule. Strike is over. There's work now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you.
So good night, everybody. We'll share the video with you. I will share with everybody, so we can always have it to refer to. Okay, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.